almost an hour in some places. But once we discovered what the problem was, we reconfigured the setting, and by the first 1 week, that problem had virtually been eliminated. But unfortunately, again, because that was a striking feature of the registration and it had registered in the minds of Nigerians, even today we have to answer questions about why fingers were not being captured. So it was a challenge. We addressed it and we had successful registration. We captured 73.5 million Nigerians, admittedly some of them doing multiple registrations, but we have virtually cleaned the register now, and we have the documentation of those who have done multiple registration. We will not issue permanent voters cards to any case of multiple registration. And definitely the challenge has been addressed insofar as that is concerned. When we purchase card readers and deploy them, we will have sufficient time to test them before actually using them.
Would they require electricity?
No, we have already developed specifications. In fact, we even have the first contract being processed for some card readers. And I can tell you that we are purchasing with a specification of a battery with 18 hours. In addition to a battery that has 18 hours when fully charged, we are also giving an additional backup battery for each of the card readers we are deploying. So the problem of power will be eliminated. The challenge is to train the people to use it well, to ensure that no machine is taken before the battery is charged. Because if the battery is not charged, then obviously there will be also challenges. But we've learned a lot from our registration in 2011 and from elections, and we've been factoring these lessons into our preparations for 2015.
Will the state's resident electoral commissioners be required to conduct this AFIS, automatic finger identification? Because the last time, only about few states did it before they displayed the register. Many other states just went ahead with the register, as it were, without going through that process.
Yes. Before the 2011 elections, we deployed AFIS, first of all, in each of the machines. So each machine, it was impossible for anybody to register twice throughout the period of registration. Once you've been registered, if you come back to that machine, it will be detected, so you won't be registered. So, but people can move to other polling units and they could be registered. So we also did run AFIS at the local government level. We gathered all the information and consolidated data of local governments and ran AFIS. But this was done at the state level. And then the entire local governments were further aggregated and the AFIS was run for the entire state data. We were not able to run AFIS on the national database, putting all the states together and running AFIS to eliminate registrations when we did the 2011 elections. And admittedly, there were inefficiencies. Some states did it better than others. But every state it was done. But certainly there were challenges. In some states they did it better than others. And that is why now, before the printing of the permanent voters' cards, we ensured that all the national database, we also ran AFIS. And that is how now what was missed in the states, we have caught them now. And by the time we've already started printing the permanent voters' cards, any voters' cards we've printed is a voters' card. We are sure there is no other duplication of that card. We've also ensured that if the photograph cannot be seen, we will not print it. At the appropriate time,
they have to redo it?
Yes, at the appropriate time, we will come out with the information to tell people whose photos may need to be taken. There are a few cases, for example, where even the fingerprints, have not appeared. We have, as I said, we are cleaning the system. And all those cases, we will document it polling unit by polling unit, state by state. When we deploy this continuous voter registration, that is the opportunity. In every polling unit, they will know people whose photographs are not clear and whose cards have not been printed, and they can come and have them captured so that we can produce the cards for them. If you don't have at least 2 fingerprints captured, because we captured 10. Okay. And once you capture 10, it can be verified. So if you have less than 2 fingerprints captured, we will ask you to come back and have it done again. But there are very, very few cases, but they are entitled to have all their biometrics captured and a permanent card issued to them. So we are also working on that.
Would you say, sir, sorry, Nyota, would you say that the DDC machines were employed to maximum use or to their most efficient use?
Yes. To be honest, we've used the DDC machines very effectively and efficiently. There were challenges of logistics, deployment. After a registration, we deploy them 8 to 5. Sometimes, but we have to take them back because there are no facilities to leave them there. So taking them back, bringing them back, you know, printing the cards, temporary cards there, were enormous logistical challenges. You know, but that's one area where really we need to commend ourselves as Nigerians, you know, because in no country has that kind of thing ever been done, where you register people, 73.5 million, within a period of 3 weeks. Bangladesh did their registration over a period of about 18 months and captured about 80 million people, but their strategy was different. You have, say, 20,000 DDC machines, you move them to a constituency, you capture everybody in that constituency, you move it to another constituency until they captured 80 million. We could have done that, and it would have been at less cost, but there was no time. We had to do a good register in order to do the 2011 elections. Everybody recognized when we came in that we could not do 2011 elections with the register we met in place. There was virtually no register. It wasn't credible. And to be able to do that, we said, okay, there is a methodology of doing this, but it's going to be a costly methodology, but it is worth it. And that's how we were able to get the support of government and the National Assembly to have the resources required to make this massive procurement. Because we put 1 DDC machine in each of the 120,000 polling units, and we even had 10% redundancy, so that if there is any challenge, it can be withdrawn and replaced, you know. And so that's how we were able to do it.
A host of Nigerians were rather disappointed that, you know, the machines weren't going to be employed in verification at least on the day of polls. I mean, you still had to rely on what you called an electronic register, which you differentiated from the manual register, but they thought that at least to be doubly sure, at least you will verify, maybe not use this in the voting process because our laws do not permit, but I think you were trying to be, we
didn't want to chew too much. The challenges would have been enormous, you know, so right from the design stage, we needed the DDC machines to be able to produce a register. You know, it's a misconception. Many people were saying they expected that Nigeria, in 2011, we were going to use DDC to do verification. We never told anybody that we are going to use DDC machines to do verification. We had to do things a step at a time, you know, and the first step is produce a credible register and have a printed register that is credible. Meanwhile, you develop the database, you clean it, you consolidate it, and then you prepare for the next challenge. And then the next challenge now is to see how you can now use verification. And we realize there are better ways of using verification. You save time, you save resources by using a card reader. A card reader is easy, it's handheld, you know, it doesn't require taking a machine to be able to do that. And with the kind of permanent voters cards we are producing, also really it's not efficient to use a DDC machine for the purposes of verification. So that is the next step of improvement, of deploying technology, of innovation to keep on improving the integrity of the electoral process.
With this centralized database you have now and the card reading machines, would it be possible for Nigerians to vote from any part of the country?
Again,
as far as they are registered?
No, for now, for 2015, no. Because again, our law is very clear. You have to register in a new polling unit closest to your residence and you have to vote there. Secondly, there are challenges of technology infrastructure in this country. To be able to register anywhere, we must have real-time connectivity